Okay, so next we're going to be working on assignment 05.1. This is going to be the creation of lists. Hopefully by now you've gone through the lesson. You've seen what an unordered list looks like with the bullet points, what an ordered list looks like with the numbered list. Know that they all start with their own little markup. Unordered list, the bullet lists are ULs, and the beginning begins with UL, and you'll end with the same /UL at the end. Each one of the items has a list item. You have your bracket LI and then the item itself, and close it off with a closing bracket /LI. Same thing for the order list, except you will use the OL to begin the list, and you will use /OL all inside the angle brackets to end it. I'll keep on going. You can combine the two in a page. You can use both types as long as they're separate. This is a UL followed by an OL, and I show you what the code looks like. So for the assignment that you'll be working on, make sure also, by the way, that you do some practice lists, just so that you can get a little bit of a better handle on what's going on. We're going to be marking up a recipe. It's in page 81 of your book. If you want to do it, I do provide the text for you here. And I'll start out by selecting all of this text. I can either do it here on the page, which sometimes is difficult for me, but I will click on View Raw and copy it from this page. I'll press Control A on my computer to select everything, select all, right click to copy. I'll go back to the page for the assignment, and then here let's just see what the instructions say. Follow the directions on the video, the one I'm recording, and create a file in your repository. So I'm already in my repository 1416. I'm at 1416.github.io. I have weeks 1 through 4. I'm going to create a new week here called week 5. You may be in a different week, but for the sake of this assignment, I'm going to create week 05. So I'll click on Add File, create a new file, and first of all, I'll create the folder week 05, no spaces, no uppercase, and then a slash. The slash says this is the name of the directory. Now I can create the name of a file, and this I'm going to call lists.html. I'll click on the link on the area below so that I can start to type. And why not start by pressing Control V and pasting everything that I just copied. So the text is now on the editing board here. If I were to go back to the assignment, and you were to double check on page 81 of your book, you'll see basically the same text, yes, but in the directions, it's specific on what tags we need besides the lists. We will have a couple of lists, and I can tell you that if you follow the examples above this exercise, not necessarily right above, but just before this, I know that a list of ingredients is probably going to be an unordered list. That's going to be the one with the bullet points on it. And then the instructions, which are going to be numbered 1, 2, 3, etc., is probably going to be an order list. It also tells you in the exercise directions in the second paragraph, in this exercise, you will find the raw text to a recipe. That's what we copied and pasted. Up to you to decide which element is the best semantic match for each chunk of content, and that you will use paragraphs, which we know that we have to use paragraphs for some of these. This is going to be a header probably. So I'll even go ahead and say this is going to be an H1, and zoom in a little bit. And at the end of that line, I can close the header with an angle bracket /H1 to complete the header. In the next line, our paragraphs begin. So, or at least I think they will. If it doesn't start to look right, then you can go back and change your codes. But I will do an angle bracket P for paragraph, close the angle bracket, and at the end of the line I will open up another angle bracket and /p to close the paragraph. The directions also tell you that you're not only using the paragraphs and headers, it tells you that you're going to use at least one special content element. And while it's not on the samples above, on your page 79 in your book, they talk about a block quote. So let me real quick show you how that works. This is a quote, make this the night before so that the flavors have time to blend, etc., all the way to the end. Let me do a soft wrap so I can see everything. And this quote it's made for a block quote. So block quote, I will also add a W3 link in the exercise so that you can read a little bit more about it. I'll open it up before the quote begins with my angle bracket and type in the word block quote, BLOCKQUOTE. Close the angle bracket. I'm just going to copy that and paste it, Control C, Control V at the end, if I only had control of what I'm doing. Control C to copy, Control V as in Victor to paste. Make sure that the block quote is closed with a slash at the beginning. What happens with the block quote is that the text is going to be shifted to the right as long as the text is within the block quote. So I will leave you here. I hope that you choose wisely on what the type of list that you're going to be using. For sure, I would recommend that, for example, ingredients and instructions, you use a header 2, angle bracket, H2, and then close it. Same thing with instructions, angle bracket / H2 to finish, only one slash. I don't think there's any more paragraphs that you need to use in this page. You only need the list items, the H2, and then whichever type of list you're using at the bottom. And let me, before I leave you, just real quick, I'll press Control A to copy all this code. I'll just right click and copy, and just to see what's going on, I'm going to go to CodePen, and then that way CodePen can tell me what's going on. If I give it the HTML, I'll just click here, press Control V, and on the right side I see that my header is working, my paragraph is working okay, and the block quote that I added, here's the code right here, block quote for that paragraph that has all the quote inside, will push everything to the right. Notice how I'm only using block quote. I didn't need to use a paragraph. Then the H2 is represented and everything else is a mess. This is our nice text on the left, but it's all jumbled up because you still have to go and separate the lists by deciding either an order list or an unordered list. When you're done with this, make sure that you save your file by committing it. Commit the new file. And for this exercise, I would click on your lists, the file you just created, highlight everything, and tell it to go to this link. Right click, go to, and then it's going to go to the link I just created. It's still publishing, so I'm not too concerned that it's not going to be there. If I wait a minute or two, everything will be there. I will select my URL that I just navigated to, press Control C to copy, and then in my assignment, click on the marking up a recipe assignment and slide down toward the bottom. And in write a submission, I will click Control V as in Victor to paste my link and then hit submit. And then that way it'll go to your instructor and it can be graded. Let me see how that page is doing. Maybe if I try again. There it is. So I see now sort of what's going on with the page, and it should be similar to what I see in my CodePen. I'll see you in the next video.